Many commerce brands do not realize that ChatGPT is all set to surpass Google by as much as 26% by 2028, making it one of the largest drivers of traffic and sales for Shopify merchants. Hi, my name is Pulkit, and my e-commerce agency Domenico builds high-converting Shopify stores and also help them drive traffic and sales from ChatGPT. ChatGPT recently introduced an update that allows its users to buy products directly inside chat. Shopify saw this coming, that's why they launched Agentic Commerce that allows all the Shopify stores to sync all their product data, including their product name, pricing, variants, images, everything gets synced with ChatGPT in AI-friendly format. And you know what? Brands like Worry, Steve Madden, Glossier, Away, they're already showing inside ChatGPT answers. And yet, less than 2% e-commerce brands using Shopify are optimizing for AEO today. But if you're an e-commerce business that doesn't want to sleep on this opportunity and wants to learn how to drive traffic and sales from ChatGPT, I've put together a free mini course that breaks down the exact step-by-step process that we use for our clients to drive traffic, sales, and brand awareness from AI platforms like ChatGPT and Google AI.
Your customers are shifting quickly from Google search to ChatGPT. If you don't know that, you must be probably living under a rock. Because in 2028, ChatGPT is expected to surpass Google by as much as 26%, which means all the organic traffic you once relied on from Google may be gone fast. We see a lot of confusion around this trend among e-commerce businesses that we are working with, and the common mistakes we see them make are that they're still chasing keyword rankings. They think the only good use of ChatGPT is to publish thin SEO-driven blogs, and they're still buying backlinks instead of earning real mentions. And many merchants simply think that SEO is dead. Maybe it's dead, maybe it's not, it's still alive, but I'm not here to argue that, and that's not my point. My point is the huge opportunity that very few small to mid-sized e-commerce businesses are talking about. And this opportunity is AEO, that is Answer Engine Optimization. You know, ChatGPT recently introduced a new capability which allows their users to buy products directly inside their chat. This means ChatGPT is no longer just another marketing channel. It's becoming a place where shoppers browse, compare, and buy. You can think of it now as a sales channel and not a marketing channel. And Shopify saw this shift coming. That's why they launched Agentic Commerce to connect millions of Shopify products directly into AI systems. This means that real-time product data can now go from your Shopify store to ChatGPT. All the data, including pricing, inventory, variant images, the whole catalog gets synced into ChatGPT in an AI-friendly format. And this is not a small change, but a tectonic shift in everything that we've been doing to market e-commerce businesses. Brands like Glossier, Worry, Steve Madden, and Away are already showing up inside AI answers. And you know what? We've seen this before. Because back in those days when social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram emerged, the brands that adapted early grew fast. The same pattern today. If you work on your brand's AEO now, you can get an early mover advantage. But what if I told you that still less than 2% of Shopify merchants are actually optimizing for AEO today? And this, my friend, is your window of opportunity. Because the moment ChatGPT rolls out ads and more brands optimize for AEO, you might need to pay for the same exposure that you can get for free today. So in the next few minutes, let's together go through the steps you can take to get your products appear in ChatGPT and other answer engines. Before we go further, a little bit about me. My name is Pulkit Rastogi. I'm the founder and CEO at Domenico.com. We are an e-commerce growth agency. In the last 12 plus years, we have been working with more than 100 e-commerce stores and helping them with their Shopify development, helping them with their SEO and now AEO, and of course, conversion and optimization. And what I'm about to share comes from my experience working with hundreds of e-commerce brands, running their SEO campaigns, building their Shopify stores, increasing their conversion rate. Are you ready? Let's start with a quick exercise. Think of one specific question that your customers ask for buying your product. For example, depending on your products, you can ask something like, which night cream is best for dry skin in winters? I'm assuming that you're selling night cream. Or if you're selling luxury coat, you can ask something like, which luxury coat is best for rainy winters? And if you're selling shoes, you can ask something like, which running shoe is better for beginners with a flat foot? Now, notice how these questions are super specific. Yes, keep it this way because that's the kind of questions your customers ask on ChatGPT. You can pause the video here and come back after you have the answer. So if you ask the question and your brand and your products did not appear in ChatGPT's answer to your question, it means one of these things. Either your brand has never answered these questions on internet or your website, or maybe ChatGPT doesn't know about it because your website isn't AEO friendly. It cannot find the content on your website. Or maybe ChatGPT simply doesn't trust your website enough. Now, because our agenda today with this presentation is to appear in ChatGPT, it makes sense to get a broad understanding of how ChatGPT works, right? So let's talk about what's actually happening under the hood and why some brands get recommended and others don't. I'll try and keep things simple and explain myself with easy to understand examples. So when someone types a question with a purchase intent, for example, which luxury coat is best for rainy winters, ChatGPT does three things before recommending a brand. Step number one, it checks which coat is everyone talking about on the internet. Step number two, it verifies if it's true right now. Step three, it chooses the brand that explains quotes most clearly in context to the user's question. Now, let's go through each of these steps one by one. What's happening in step number one is that ChatGPT first strives to recommend products and brands the internet talks about the most. The brands mentioned across the internet, such as blogs and especially places with UGC, that is user-generated content, Reddit, YouTube, Quora, roundups, get an instant advantage. If people on the internet repeatedly mention luxury trench coat with Burberry or the best night cream for dry skin, wherever this is written, they always see the brand glossier appear again and again. AI picks up the pattern and makes the association that Burberry is the best luxury trench coat and Glossier sells the best night cream for dry skin. Now, step number two, it verifies if that's true right now. So ChatGPT uses something called RAG, that is Retrieval Augmented Generation. It fetches fresh information before answering. So if a new video by a YouTuber post on Reddit thread mentions your product positively, ChatGPT can see it almost instantly and decide whether the signals of this UGC content proves that the brand is worthy of being included in its answers. Okay, now let's bring us to step number three. After it verifies, it chooses the brand that explains things most clearly on the site. If your site answers the real questions that its users are asking, ChatGPT finds you easier to understand and recommend. For example, going back to our night cream example, if you're selling a night cream, you should preempt and answer all the customer questions such as what skin type is it for, how to apply it, what ingredients, is it safe for oily skin? AI needs clear answer to confidently recommend your product. So as a Shopify merchant, you should look to answer as many exact questions that your customers are asking on ChatGPT. Now note that ChatGPT has memory of your customers and it tries to personalize response to its memory of its users. So more specific you can be with your questions and answers, better are your chances to get mentioned by ChatGPT. And if you answer those questions better than your competitors, AI considers you more helpful and helpful brands get recommended by ChatGPT. So now that we understand how ChatGPT works in context to e-commerce, the real question remains, how do you become the brand AI wants to recommend? So let me share with you a practical 5-step framework that we use for our e-commerce clients. And these 5 steps are, so you first of all have to make sure your website is crawl friendly. Step number 2 is you find your keywords and turn those keywords into questions. Step 3 is map the right questions to the right page. Step number 4 is build links and citations. And step number 5, of course, is track real world results. So let's very briefly go through each of these 5 steps one by one. I'll not take too much of your time. Let's talk about step 1, that is making sure your website is crawl friendly. So just like Google crawlers, if AI crawlers cannot read your store, it cannot recommend your product. So you have to get your SEO basics right. That means there should be not any duplicate content on your website. There should not be too many broken links. There should not be too many pages with missing meta titles. And the website cannot be slow as well. The interlinking has to be good as well. And you have to ensure that your schemas are intact on your product page, on your cart page, on your home page. The schemas have to be there. That's very, very important. And all those SEO things, this is not an exhaustive list. You have to ensure all your SEO basics are taken care of. Only then you can expect to drive sales and traffic from ChatGPT. This brings us to step number 2, that is turning keywords into customer questions. I would say first find the keywords and then turn them into customer questions. So AI answers questions and not keywords, which means you have to optimize your store not just for keywords for performance on SEO, you have to also optimize your store for questions. But then the question is, how do you optimize your store for questions? So here's a simple 3-step process that we follow for our clients when we do their question research. So it starts with a simple keyword research. You can use any tool like SEMrush, Ubersuggest, Ahrefs, any tool. You don't need anything fancy, just use any tool and find the keywords that are important to your products and your brand. Next, you can convert each keyword into a real question. For example, a long tail keyword like night cream for dry skin can be written as a question that is, which night cream is best for dry skin. Next, once you have all the questions, you have to group those questions by intent. You can keep things simple and group them by purchase intent versus educational intent. For example, as you can see, best night cream for dry skin is more important as a keyword than what does night cream do. Why? Because best night cream for dry skin has a purchase intent, and what does a night cream do has an education intent. As an e-commerce business, you should look to target the keywords with purchase intent and not educational intent. So step number 3 is map the right questions to the right page, because not every question belongs everywhere. All the broad competitive questions, like which one is the best night cream or who sells the best trench coat, all the broad terms, the broad questions, they should go offsite on platforms like Reddit, YouTube, Quora. You should look to answer those questions there. And for mid and long tail questions like which brand sells best night cream for dry skin or how to choose a trench coat for winter, they should go on your Shopify store, specifically on your product pages in the form of FAQs, on the collection pages, as well as FAQs, because we have tested that FAQs on collection page tend to improve not just the conversion of the store, but also the SEO performance and AEO performance as well, for example. And on the blogs, this is where you can make a deep dive and write more detailed response to the specific questions. Again, it's very important. The question, your response can be detailed, but it has to be specific to the user. Your e-commerce brand should answer all of them. And this brings us to step number 4, that is build links and citations. This is where AI forms its trust signals. So unlike Google, ChatGPT doesn't just seize backlinks. It also sees every mention of your brand on the internet, even without a link. So it's important for you to get mentioned on sites like Reddit, Quora, YouTube, and affiliate blogs and niche roundup. Now, you might think that you need to be everywhere. That's not true. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be present in the conversations your customers already read. So look to answer niche questions, participate in relevant communities on these sites, and publish simple review comparison videos on YouTube. And one thing you have to remember, that not all the citations are equal. So if you're selling a night cream, getting your brand mentioned in a beauty blog would hold more value than being mentioned by a food blog. And as you answer more questions and earn more citations, you should see more sales, direct traffic, and referral traffic from ChatGPT. This brings us to step number 5, that is track real world result. And I'm not talking about Google rankings, I'm talking about actual visibility. Because if your goal is to track results from AEO efforts, more important parameters to track are direct traffic, that is brand searches, referral traffic from ChatGPT, and new citations and offsite mentions. So if you follow this 5-step process, you will be able to leverage AEO and agentic commerce in 2026 and beyond. But you know what? It all starts with your e-commerce website, that is your Shopify store. If your store isn't AEO friendly or has conversion roadblocks, your e-commerce business is bound to miss this massive growth opportunity. And that is why we built AllSteps. AllSteps is a Shopify app that plugs into your store to uncover SEO, AEO, and conversion rate related issues that may be limiting your traffic and conversions. So while most agencies rely on opinions, generate checklists, and take weeks to diagnose problems, at Domenico, we use our own technology, that is AllSteps, to pull e-commerce data from your store and instantly uncover SEO, AEO, and CR issues. And this allows us to turn insights into clear and prioritized actions that drives measurable growth for your e-commerce business. So if you want to see exactly how AEO ready your store is, go check out domenico.com and schedule a call with our team today. So thank you for joining. I hope you got value from this presentation. I look forward to hearing from you and hopefully talking to you when you schedule a call.